Hello, everyone. Dr. Mel here, waiting for live. There we are. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy day, whatever day you are tuning in and listening. I know I haven't been doing Mindfulness Monday, and I know y'all love Mindfulness Monday. Many of you know we've changed our hours at the office, so the time allotted on Monday afternoons isn't quite there as much as it used to be. So here we are. It's Tuesday and it's still a day, depending on, when you're watching this. So I wanted to come on here and share with you the top 3 things. Count them, 3. The top 3 things that you can focus on and that you can prepare for when it comes to your body, your health, your mind, your emotions, your lifestyle. 3 things that you can do now to help prepare you leading into the summer months. Now, when I say summer months, what do I mean by that? What do I mean for you by that? You're probably very conscious of what's happening in the culture right now. Some would call it a downturn in the economy. Some would call it a downturn in the stock market, or as our culture calls it, a recession. Now, I don't say that to freak you out because anything can really happen, and we just have to look at markers and what's happening globally in the world over the last 2.5 years. And we've all felt it, right? You felt it, you've noticed it, you've maybe experienced more stress, more chaos, more turmoil. Maybe you've experienced health challenges in your life. Maybe those close to you have felt the effects of their health and felt the effects of what's happening in the world. And that's why I wanted to come on here and share with you 3 things that you can do now to help prepare yourself. One thing you have to remember, and one thing that we at Inspire Co. and Inspire Life teach, is that you will be more resourceful, you will be more adaptable, you will be more balanced if you take care of you. And I think people get confused, and maybe you've been confused in this in the past, where we think that self-care, self-maintenance, self-sustainability, health can be really, really expensive. And that's not always the case. So I wanted to share 3 things that you can do now that I believe and have found with my clients are impactful and help you be more balanced internally. And here's the thing. No matter what happens in the world, financially, economically, globally, if we look at, everything that's going on, and if the predictions come true, then you're still going to have the problems and the challenges that you dealt with 3 years ago before all of this happened. You're still going to have those things if you haven't addressed them. So just know everything happening outside of ourselves and everything happening around us can be a direct reflection of things that we're not necessarily paying attention to internally. And one of the things I teach my clients is what's happening predominantly in your inner world can be a manifestation and a reflection of what you're seeing in your external world. For example, if you feel dysregulated, if you feel imbalanced, if you feel chaotic internally, my sense is that your house, your immediate environment, maybe your relationships, maybe your bank accounts, maybe whatever it is, your rhythm and routines are also probably dysregulated, out of balance, and not as harmonious as you'd probably like. So it's my job and my goal and my passion and vision and mission is to teach you how to become more balanced and how to become more aligned from the inside out, so that no matter what happens in the external world, you have the resources and balance in your body mind to navigate whatever challenges come your way. So number 1, asking yourself, how can you source locally? What do I mean by that? Food, water. If we think about adaptability and living our life, we need oxygen, we need food, we need water, and we need shelter. Everything else is consumerism. Everything else is part of the Industrial Revolution. And I'm not saying any of that is bad, okay? Like stuff, it's stuff, right? Look at the stuff behind me. It's stuff that we as human beings have created over the years of being conscious, evolved, all challenge that creatures. How can you source locally? If supply chain stuff is getting funky and there's blockages in that flow, asking yourself, okay, well, what is immediately available to me? Are there local co-ops? Are there local farmers? Can you start to source locally within your own backyard? And even for those of you who maybe live in an apartment, there are some amazing things I'm going to share with you that you can still be sustainable when it comes to sourcing locally in your state, in your county, in your city, in your country, and not be so dependent on systems that are so far reaching. You know, if we constantly are dependent on sourcing things from a lot of different countries, that can get very challenging at times like this, right? So one of the things that my husband and I always try to look at is, where do things come from? This is something I know Michael talks to all about too. Looking at, where's my food coming from? Did it come from Mexico or did it come from Minnesota? Now you might be thinking, but I love my avocados and I love my mangoes and I know, all that great stuff, and that's fine. And think about the cost it takes to keep a mango or an avocado, and I say this having avocados and mangoes in my fridge, so I'm not perfect, y'all. But I say this, and you have to ask, what is the cost of this to keep this fresh, to pay people who are shipping it, and to get it into stores? That's why sometimes you're going to see, if there's supply chain shortages and all of that, you're going to see things increase in price. So if you can keep it local and ask how you can source things more local to your home nest, my sense is that you are going to save on that. And your body's going to be way happier because you're getting and sourcing energy from your immediate environment in which you interact with on a daily basis. One of the things that we do at Inspire Life too is we like to source our water from the Frederick Miller Spring, which is in Eden Prairie. So for those of you, tap water, obviously we can talk about that in another video, but we like to buy spring water or get our spring water. So you can actually go to Frederick Miller Spring, for example, and you can get water there for free, and it comes from a natural spring. So whether you go to the co-op and you buy your water, if you are buying reverse osmosis water, that's fine, 39 cents a gallon. I recommend putting trace minerals in there to replenish the nutrients and the minerals that are taken out during that reverse osmosis process. And if you want free natural spring water, you can go right over to Eden Prairie and grab it. Grab your gallons, grab your glass gallons. My words today. Grab your glass gallons, bring those with you, and you can fill it up for free. Again, it's local here in the Twin Cities. So that's number one, is how can you source locally? Number two, bringing it a step further, how can you start to become more sustainable on your own? And what I mean by that is growing your own food. Yes, our ancestors used to do that. We didn't used to outsource it to a bunch of other people, and industrialized agriculture has its own downfalls. How can you start to source it yourself? Now, you might be asking yourself, oh my gosh, I've never gardened before, I don't know how to start. Breathe. It's okay. We are going to be bringing in one of our sustainability experts, Scott. Some of you may know him. He is a master at this, and he's been studying it for years as far as how to become more sustainable on our own and grow your own food and be able to source more sustainably local and become your own farmer, right? So one of the things that I recommend, and that actually Scott has taught me, Scott and his wife Ashley, part of our team, is if you are someone where you're like, I don't really know where to start, kind of like me. My mom's a great gardener. I am getting better. One of the things that I have found and going to be investing in is called Garden, Gardyn. And it's an at-home grow kit that you can keep right in your house. It waters it for you. You can choose from a variety of herbs and vegetables and fruit and flowers, which is amazing. And it teaches you how to actually use food more sustainably, to eat what you grow and not overeat or overproduce or overbuy. So it's called Garden. And Yes, the initial upfront cost is about $800 to $900, but then you have that and you can buy your, little organic disposable cups, kind of like a K cup, like if you're used to a Keurig, something like that. So that's really cool. So that's number two is, how do you start to grow your own? You might be someone who's also curious, like, what if I raise cows? What if I raise chickens? I'm not to that point yet, but I've definitely thought about it. So again, becoming your own best sustainability advocate. And then last but not least, number three is recession proofing your body, your mind, and your life. What do I mean by that? As I said in the beginning of this video, no matter what happens over the next couple months to maybe the next year, if you've had health challenges, if you've had mental, emotional dysfunction, chaos, which I know has been rising over the last 2 years, you want to make sure that you come back home to your body. Because in my opinion, your health is your greatest wealth. And if you don't have your health, then everything else around you really doesn't make that big of a difference, right? Because you can have and spend all the money on all the fancy things, but if you don't have the health and the vitality to enjoy those things, then you have to ask yourself, do those investments or purchases actually make sense? If you're someone who likes to travel, if you're someone who likes to learn, if you're someone who has a very demanding job and you can't function and your body can't work right and you're not aging with vitality, then you have to really ask yourself, what truly matters when it comes to investing in things and where you are spending your resources, which include time, energy, and money. So asking yourself, a lot of people are looking at recession proofing things, and this happens, right? This is part of just living in an industrialized economy, right? It's a reset. So how can you take this time to also reset your body, your mind, and asking yourself, am I actually investing in things that truly matter to me? Am I investing in things that actually are going to give me longevity? Am I investing in things that are going to give me sustainability in my health, in my wealth, in my consciousness, and in my mind? Or do you fall victim to the chaos of the world and feel like you just need to hoard and spend things and really put money into things that don't necessarily matter when it comes to your own vitality? So those are the three things that I'm going to be recommending to you all. And I'll leave you with this. Come back to your own center. If you notice yourself scrolling on social media, if you notice yourself getting caught up in the chaos, I'm not saying don't look at the news. I'm not saying don't read articles, but I'm also looking at this from a perspective of, where do you feel like your energy is getting drained? And in the same token, where do you feel like your energy is being served? Does it make sense to continuously have the same conversations and stressful, communication with people that maybe depletes your energy? Is there a different group of people? Is there maybe a different community that you're looking for that is going to help you maintain that balance, support your vitality, and ultimately teach you ways how to become more sustainable and adaptable into the future? And I'm not necessarily saying that's us at Inspire Life. However, that is something that we have been talking about for the last 5 to 6 years, is autonomy, choice, resourcefulness, sustainability, and empowerment. Those have been our core values since the beginning. And this is why, because as life happens, you have to respond. You have to be balanced. Your nervous system needs to be able to respond, right? In order to keep living and growing and thriving and not just surviving. So my hope is that you take these tenets into account, you take these recommendations into account, and you really start to look at what matters. And you essentially recession-proof your body, mind, spirit lifestyle so that you can not only express your health, but express who you are, no matter what the external circumstance is. So I digress. My 3 recommendations going into this summer: comment below, What is it that you are doing at this time to support your body, your mind, your thoughts, your emotional and mental health, and ultimately your lifestyle? Because that's what matters. So comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And let's share. Let's share what's working. This is a community we've built, and we want to keep supporting you from the inside out. So I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great day.